to make sure you guys are hearing me hearing me clearly. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. It's four topics, but yeah, welcome to this Friday evening special live Friday evening stream TGIF of topics on my mind for today, the 12th of June, 2020. And I can tell you folks one thing. I'm just glad it's Friday because I thought taking a week off and then coming back a week later, refreshed and recharged, which I did, was going to pay off. And although I was more ready for work than I was before, let's just say by the end of this week, yesterday, but mostly today, it really got on my nerve. It really got to me a little bit. And it's mostly because of the fact that, as some customers pointed out, and as we've tried to point out to customers, um, we were low on bags. For some odd reason, we haven't been getting a lot of shopping bags in until at least towards the end of the week. And I don't know if that has to do with delivery or what's going on, but it's been one of those situations to where people just don't. Um, the thing is, it's just despite the fact that we try telling them, um, what was I saying? Like I said, like I was saying, basically, we try telling them, and I am a little tired. I worked today, so you can see that obviously in my expression. But we try telling them, look, we have no bags, but look, to compensate, we have the boxes. Yes, we had to use produce boxes to uh, to basically what did I just say? Accommodate. Oh yeah, accommodate the customers because it's the fact that we didn't have any bags or anything, and it was like I, like I said, it was not one of those situations to where customers, all the customers understand automatically. Oh, okay, no problem. You know, you have no, you have no, you have no bags, no problem. Oh, you got boxes to compensate. Oh, that's even better. And there were some people that liked it. Some people were cool with us using boxes to help them out, and that's what we did. But other people were just like, no, no. It's like, you need bags, you need this, you need that, and it wasn't just the bags either. It was the fact that we have policies we have to go by. Like for example, not just us, but I'm sure a lot of retailers out there, businesses from like a Target or a Kohl's or whatever, they can't allow people to return any clothing items of the kind until they get the cue, until they get the word of okay, it's all right to do it now. I mean, they can return certain items, like let's say for the box, they can return microwaves, they can return DVD, Blu-ray players, game systems, vacuums. But as far as like I said, as far as basically clothing, anything that's been open and has been utilized, can't do it. You can't do it because of what's going on. They don't want to take any chances, and I don't think anybody can honestly blame them for that. But and again, some customers are understanding. They're like, okay, no problem, and we tell them, hey, as long as you keep your receipt, you should be okay. Some customers are not that way. I'll be honest with you. Be totally honest with you on one thing. Be totally honest. Um, there was a customer. There was a customer. Honestly, that I think it was back on Monday or Tuesday. I walk in. I get dropped off. I walk in, And the first thing I see after I clock in is the customer arguing with one of our assistant managers, as well as one of our CSM managers. Long story short, they wanted to return the denim shorts they got. And they tried to explain to her we can't do that because of policy. And she's like, you're gonna, and they're basically trying to tell her, look, as long as you got the receipt, you can return it at a later time when we got the clear. And she's like, no, I want to return it now. And I think I've seen this lady before. No, in fact, I believe I have seen this lady in our store before. She's one of those people, and my hand just hit the mic cord there, but she, and I just adjusted the pop filter. But she's one of those people that just wants to come in there and cause trouble. It's like she does not understand the reasoning. And if she does, she's probably one of those people that, and I say this with all due respect, that's old school. They feel, hey, we've had all these different viruses, we've had all these different um, moments in history, and none of them have stopped people from returning clothing to the stores. None of them. And I think that's what they're looking at. That's what they're trying to point out. That look, you've had all these other viruses, all these other sicknesses and ailments, whatever, but that's never stopped anybody before. This is an entirely different thing. And there's no doubt our company and associates and managers involved, just like any other retail store and company and franchise, understands and realizes, they get it. They understand that the thing's ridiculous. It's dumb. You know, we shouldn't have to go, we or anybody else shouldn't have to do this. But right now, that's just the way things are. That's just the way things are playing out. I mean, it's not my call. It's not my it's not my manager's call. In the region part of that company is same. And if they say no, you can't do it, we can't do it. It's the same thing with bags. I mean, I understand a lot of people like to bring in their bags now because no matter what state you live in, bags are stores are or were at the time before this whole pandemic were charging 10 cents, 5 cents, 20 cents a bag. So I understand that bringing your own bag in, reusable bag, is a better option. You don't have to spend anything. But because of what's been going on, they can't do that. And again, some people are understanding of that, some are not. Some are like, that's ridiculous. What am I supposed to do? And then again, it goes back to the option that we gave them. It's like, here's the alternative to accommodate you. We're going to use boxes. And we literally have to put produce boxes that contained strawberries, bananas, oranges, you name it, if they're empty, because the items in there have been rotated and displayed. Basically, they'll be cool with it. They'll be cool with it. But then there are some that don't want to do it because they have their reasonings. But then there are customers like what I encountered today. There were some customers like what I encountered today, and what I encountered was a couple. Was a couple that obviously and I say this with all due respect, and God knows I do, but obviously thinks they're better than everybody else. So, as you all know, at my kind of job, we have to wear gloves and a mask. That's mandatory to protect us and protect the customers. Even though a lot of people say it's ridiculous because of the real reason the mask and gloves are utilized or should be utilized. Well, here comes this couple. We have to explain we have no bags. We're working on an alternative solution, which is boxes. They're not happy. So I got the glove on, I got the mask on and everything, and I'm just, doing this. It's out of habit, but it's the mask. I'm not touching my face or anything. The lady says, can you sanitize your hands and all that? And I'm wearing gloves. So out of respect, I went and changed my gloves, and I even put sanitizer on them. Okay, fine. But these people just had an attitude to where it's like, okay, so they were a bit apologetic at the end, a bit understanding, not much, but a bit understanding at the end when they're like, oh no, it's not your fault, it's the company's fault, whatever. Really? Well, if you were a bit understanding, let me ask you people this. If they were a bit understanding, then why did they take out a majority of their items, leave it on my belt at my register, and just buy the items they wanted because they were upset there were no bags? And oh, they feel that this whole glove and mask thing's ridiculous or what. That's basically what they felt. They felt it was ridiculous. And look, I understand people feel that way, but they have to understand we do it for a reason. And here's the thing, they find it ridiculous, but yet they want us to sanitize our hands, change the glove after every customer, and yet you're not wearing any, you're not wearing a mask, you're not wearing a glove, and you're telling us? And you're telling us? It's like, really? So you're a customer, you come in, you're a customer, you come in, and you have the gall to tell us, to tell me, put sanitizer on my gloves, change the glove. You have the gall to tell me, even though you try to be a bit understanding at the end, to do that. And the reason in that you don't have any. It's ridiculous. So I was just glad this week finally ended. But I'm telling you folks, it started out fine. We have somebody back after a year or so. More people back on staff. We hired new people, and yet customers just don't understand it. Again, there are reasons we do things. And yet, oh, and I'll tell you this, it frustrated me. It frustrated me to no end. You know why it frustrated me? Because of the fact that they decide that they left their stuff on my belt, took what they wanted to buy, bought it, but have the gall to tell us to change our gloves, sanitize our hands, whatever, and you're not wearing any. I don't get it. It's just, again, I'm just glad this week's over. But anyway, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to some topics. And the first topic we're going to talk about is yesterday's reveal of the PlayStation 5, the PS5, which from a specs comparison is almost identical to the Xbox Series X. Almost. Again, I say almost. Now, I haven't read much up on the specs, but I did see Joe Vargas, aka, and he loved what he saw. He loved the games that were revealed. He loved how the system looked, and I can't blame him. I can see myself owning a system like that, and probably will be owning a system like that before the year's out. To me, just like the PS4 and the Xbox One X, those are going to be gifts to myself. That's going to be a gift to myself. That PS5 and that Xbox Series X are going to be in my room. I should have said Xbox One S, but that Xbox Series X and that PS5 are going in my room. End of discussion. And by then, maybe I'll have a 4K TV. Who knows? But yeah, I looked at it. I saw what it looked like. I like it. I like the fact that they, again, once again, showed us what the DualSense controller is going to look like. I like the fact that they showed us other amenities like an HD camera, a headset, which looks really good, a media remote. So I love that they did all this, and on top of that, they showed what the games would look like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, the new Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart game, which is going to introduce us to a female version of Ratchet. And let me tell you this, I don't know what her name is. Hopefully, we find out soon. Now, some people are saying, oh, it can't be a girl, it's got a tail and all that. Let me remind you of this. There have been many gaming franchises, comic books, and animation franchises that have done female versions of characters like Ratchet and have kept the tail or whatever male amenity that's usually not on them on them. And they were still straight up female. They were still straight up female. You know, they were straight up female. That's the thing. They were straight up female. And again, I don't know who um who she is, what her name is, but she's going to be obviously a playable character. And the other thing we can't forget is the last time a franchise did this, which was Star Fox, as far as I know, and then when they introduced Crystal, Crystal became the love interest of Fox. So who's to say whoever this female is won't become the love interest to space and time and other dimensions of Ratchet himself? Who's to say she won't be? I mean, even Joe Vargas, Angry Joe, looked at this and even acknowledged he turned into a girl. So it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what they have in store for us with that one. They also showed some Oddworld game footage, but the other big one, Joe Vargas, and a lot of people obviously are happy about, Gran Turismo 7. Yes. In the footage, in the footage, we saw, ladies and gentlemen, the footage we saw, oh my goodness, looks good. It looks fantastic. I mean, I've played racing games before, but I've never really had a feel for them. But every time a Gran Turismo or a Need for Speed like game comes out, people are always pointing the fingers and saying you have to play that game. That'll get you in the mood. That'll make you want to play more of these kind of games. And that's literally what I do. That's literally what I do. I play the game and aim for a bit, and I kind of like it. I really do. I kind of like it. I really do. And I I don't know what else to say besides it's the fact that what we saw with Gran Turismo or Gran Turismo 7, that is definitely a game. I'll put it to you like this. I'll put it to you like this. Gran Turismo 7, Spider-Man Miles Morales, if there's any of games that I'm going to be buying to at launch with this system, it's those two games. It will be. There is no doubt. And that's the one thing a lot of people have been praising Sony about. They have said that basically they did the one thing Xbox did not do, and that is they showed the game footage. They showed what the games are going to look like, once the system comes out, and I cannot wait. Again, I cannot wait to see what the games are going to look like, how the games are going to be presented in the end. I cannot wait. And you can only imagine if you are a WWE video game fan, if you are a WWE video game fan, excuse me, you can only imagine, only imagine how good 2K21 is going to be. You can only imagine how good that game's going to be when it comes out on that system. But the games they were showing, some are going to be multi-platform, no doubt. But Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank, I should say, Gran Turismo 7, Oddworld, these are going to be PS5 exclusives. And again, I'm telling you right now, when this system comes out, I am definitely going to be buying it. There's no doubt about it. Now, the one question a lot of people have, though, is what is the price range going to be? How much is the PS5 going to be? Some are saying it's going to be a lot. Heck, there's a page I saw on Facebook, an article on Facebook that says you can now pre-order the PS5, but it's going to cost you a lot. And you know what the price range they said that you could pre-order the PS5 for? $700. That right there is not a legitimate pre-order. And if it is, it's a scalpel pre-order. Because I don't see any retailer, Walmart, Target, GameStop, Amazon, Toys R Us, wherever. I do not see them, Kohl's, Best Buy, whatever. I do not see them pricing the PS5 for $700. You are heading into freaking Neo Geo territory from the mid 90s with that price range. Pre-order or instant buy on the day of release or the week and month of release. You are digging your own grave by going into Neo Geo territory if a pre-order price like that is true, which it's not, because that's mainly scalpers, I should say. That is mainly scalpers. Yeah, I can talk. Scalpers trying to make a price, and that is wrong. That is wrong. And if they're part of Amazon or eBay, hopefully Amazon and eBay takes care of that, or even Walmart or Target that also does online with third markets and all that. Hopefully they take care of that before too long. But yeah, I don't see it being in what, like I said, Neo Geo territory. I don't see that. You know where I see it being? You know where I see it being, guys? I see it being exactly where I bought this one. Because both these systems, I bought at their price. I see it between $350 and $450. That's what I see. And I see the same for the Xbox Series X. Both systems are going to be between $350 and $450. Basically, $349.99 and $449.99. That's what I see. I see between $349.99 and $449.99. That's what I see. I don't see any 700. I don't see any, 5 to 600. I see between 350 and 450, and that's a fact. The highest I think they will go is 475. That's it. 475. So average drives with no pack-in and stuff, but just the system itself, I could see between 350 and 450 at most. Now, it was also announced that they have a digital version coming out. Now, the digital version, obviously, they're taking a page out of Microsoft Playbook and deciding to not just release a physical disc version, but a digital version. And basically, this, I believe, will cost a little less. A little less. Here's what I mean. The digital version, I think, it's going to be costing just a bit less because there's no optical disk drive with it. It's just basically a system, a streaming system, if you will, where you download your games. You buy the games through the cards and you download them, for example. Let me show you. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Ah, here it is. But basically, it's like you take game cards like this. You take these kind of cards, and you just download the game into your system. Now, obviously, the big concern that a lot of people have, though, is the difference in space size. Basically, the specs on that do favor Microsoft's Xbox Series X, but Sony, it sounds like, even though those is a less space, when it comes to, the is less when it comes to certain space. It seems to me that there's room to grow. Like, they made it that way, in my opinion, to grow, to make things a lot bigger and better. Like, to them, yeah, they may have less space, like with the teraflops and all that and the gigabytes compared to a terabyte. But to them, I think it's for a reason. I think Sony has a reasoning. It's like the message is saying, you don't need so much space to play all these games. So, and I think that's why they're doing the digital version as well, because straight up digital, I guess, helps save space or something like that. I don't really know. I mean, I have games downloaded digitally and stuff, so it does seem like, in my opinion, that does help out. Like, there's more space given than there is taken, if you know what I mean. But in conclusion, though, yeah, there is a digital version coming out, and like I said, it's mainly a streaming box. It's a streaming video game box that basically, to me, in my opinion, um, they're just taking a page out of Xbox's system, and they're going like, "Hey, this is obviously the future. We could," because that's what I see what's going on here. I see what Sony's doing, because I don't think Microsoft has announced, when they announced the Xbox Series X. I don't think they announced that there was going to be two versions. They only announced one. They might announce a second digital version later on to compete with Sony, but Sony did it right. They said, look, we understand that people are old school. They like the physical option. They like to hold the disc physically in their hands and read manuals, whatever. So that's why they're giving us that's why they decided, I should say, that they're going to give us the PS5 optical disc drive version of the system. But at the same time, they also realized that streaming, downloading digitally is the future. And that's why you're also getting a digital version as well. So, I look at it like, this is obviously something that, people are looking for. People are happy to finally see be revealed after so much speculation. We're basically getting an idea, you know, of what the games are going to be like, what the specs will be like, what accessories are going to be available right off the bat. Cannot wait. I know one thing that Angry Joe Vargas brought up was, what about VR? Are we going to get that? And I think, honestly, we will get VR. I think they're still working on that. The main focus here with this presentation was to show the kind of hardware that's going to be available right off the bat, well as also showing what the games are going to look like as well. But yeah, PlayStation 5, PS5 reveal yesterday, I thought was great. Cannot wait for it. And again, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to cost any 700 or 500 or 600. I think it's going to be between 350 and 450, with the most it could go to, if it's like a bundle pack, being 475. Well, On the other hand, with the digital, I could see between maybe 340 and 440, like a $10 difference is what I can see with the digital version. But anyway, with that said, let's get on. But anyway, yeah, looking forward to the PS5 when it comes out this holiday season. And they did promise more information to come. Okay, with that said, let's move on to our next topic. And that is something that I recently discovered. Now, usually once in a while, if not every night, I like to kind of Google and search. I like to Google or search on Google and search on YouTube and Vimeo and other places animated music videos featuring female singers. Because, as I've said before, and the same goes with stop motion and claymation and pixelization, because, like I've said before, I've always felt that the time is right. The time is now for a female artist to do their own take or concept on the 1986 Sledgehammer music video done by Peter Gabriel. In other words, don't do a remake of the song and all that, but do a video but do your own song, but do your own kind of take on the music video. Like, you know, utilize today's technology to show a representation of what the stop motion moments and claymation moments were like, but with your video, but using, like I say, the latest technology to make it identical, but in your own way. Well, Phoebe Ryan, Phoebe Ryan recently released a video called Reality. It's an animated music video, and this music video proves the time is indeed now, because I had Peter Gabriel Sledgehammer like vibes when I saw this. Even though it was all animated, I had those kind of vibes. I did. And to me, I don't know if Phoebe Ryan went in this direction because maybe she heard people like me saying, hey, female artists should do this. I don't know if that's it. I don't think it is. I think it's just coincidence. But to me, she proved without a shadow of a doubt that the time is indeed now for female artists to do their own take and concept on the Sledgehammer music video from 1986 by Peter Gabriel. In other words, like I said, don't do a remake of the song, although you could if you wanted to, and don't do an exact remake of the music video scene by scene, although you could if you wanted to, but mainly do your own song and do a video that pays tribute to Sledgehammer's music video by having certain scenes and everything represent those scenes from Sledgehammer. Like, Peter Gabriel being in stop motion, pixelization, being surrounded by fruit, and the fruit covers his face, and all of a sudden you see a fruit face. All of a sudden you see a fruit face version, or fruit version, or cocktail version, whatever you call it, of his face that breaks apart when he says a certain line, then comes back together. Have a scene that represents pays tribute to that. Have a scene that pays tribute to the claymation. Because we saw the claymation parts. Stuff like that. Do a video that goes in that direction. And like I said, Phoebe Ryan, to me, proved it can be done. Flash animation proved to me and everybody else it could be done. And like I said, I got freaking Sledgehammer Peter Gabriel vibes from that. And I know people are saying, and I know you're thinking, well, how? How did you get vibes from that? Well, it's real simple. I remember, because there was times, even though it's based around fantasy and stuff like that, whatever. Even though it's based on fantasy, like I said, even though it's based on fantasy, whatever, there are scenes in there where the animated face of Phoebe is seen on a certain object. Like, there's a scene where she's in this thing is coming out of her head, it's like a brain or whatever, flipping through her phone like this. It's looking at all these images, and when it gets to these other images, like a cloud, a cactus, a sunflower, whatever, you see Phoebe's face on there. Animated version, like he goes to a cloud, you see Phoebe's eyes like up here and then the mouth down here. You see him go to a cactus, see her face there. Same thing. And then you have her face on the front of a freaking matrix like wall as it's zooming out. And then you see her face on the moon or on the planet. That's basically where I think I got the vibes from. That's basically where I got these vibes from. And I feel that any established or up and coming female singer could do that, could do their own take, can do something like that down the line. And again, it just proves that the time is now for them to do that by doing their own take and concept on Sledgehammer, by doing like a tribute, where, like I said, you have certain scenes that represent the certain creative scenes that were in that music video, for their song. And again, I'll say this as I close out this topic. Phoebe Ryan proved with this reality music video, although animated, it can be done. It can be done, and the time is indeed now. But the question is, what up and coming or established female singer / artist is capable of doing that? Let me know what you guys think in the live chat or down below. All right, moving on to our third topic here. In our third topic, as I go take care of a few things for a moment, hold on. In our third topic, what I'm getting at, our third topic is very intriguing. As a matter of fact, I think it might be something that people are going to ask and talk about for a while. And that is, what classic system was more successful? The TurboGrafx 16 Mini or the Sega Game Gear Micro? Now, the reason I say this is because the Game Gear Micro, even though I look at it as a very novel concept, and very nostalgic novel concept, with in a positive way, it's come under a lot of scrutiny and controversy, mostly by a lot of the internet gaming. I'm trying to think of the right word. Gaming celebrities out there. Basically, it's come under a lot of scrutiny and controversy from a lot of the established internet / YouTube / Vimeo video game reviewers and analysis, like Joe Vargas, Angry Joe, Pat Cortera, Pat the NES Punk, and many others. And even Rich at Review Tech USA. And it's come under scrutiny for the fact that it's very tiny. It's like the palm of your hand size almost, or whatever size they want to call it. But basically, it's very tiny. It's let me see if I got something that can represent that. I checked it as well. Sorry, guys, I had to check something, but let me get something that kind of, I think, gives you an idea of what they're talking about. I have it in here. I was just looking at it the other day. Maybe I won't. No, I was just looking at it the other day. I know it's in here somewhere. Not exactly what I'm looking for, but it'll kind of do. It'll kind of do, but they're basically saying it's the size like this, almost this size. So it's like, that's what's upsetting them. it's not just that either. It's the fact that it may be a little bit bigger than this. Like some are saying it could be this size, who knows? But basically what's upsetting them is the fact that not only will it be this size and you're getting 4 different colors, but 4 of those Game Gear Micros will have 4 different games. One of them is mostly going to be RPG focused, and the one thing that Pat brought up was how people going that love those kind of games going to be able to go like, ooh, what is he saying? He's basically saying that the RPG won't work. The other thing that's really brought it under scrutiny and controversy is the fact that they're saying, hey, if you pre-order all 4, you get the big window that magnifies the picture because the screen is 1.1. The screen is 1.15 inches. So, yeah, not a lot of people are happy, especially like I say, the established video game internet reviewers and analysis. They're not very happy with this announcement by Sega. Now, some of them think it's going to be just a Japan exclusive. Nope, they wouldn't make. Here's the thing: Sega would not make this announcement around the 60th anniversary, the 60th birthday, if they didn't intend for the micro to also be here in the U.S., North America, and whatnot down the line. So the micro is going to be coming here as well. But what's here now, kind of, but mostly for review and maybe purchase, is the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. Now, I have an original TurboGrafx. It's not the TurboGrafx I had as a kid. I lost that somewhere doing one of my moves. But I basically do have two of the original games I had with the system when I got it for Christmas one year, and that's World Class Baseball and Keith Courage. Now, what's interesting about this is I looked online and I noticed that there's a connection that you could actually buy online that if you take off the back of your TurboGrafx 16 and connect this connection to it, that by using an HDMI cable, you could play your TurboGrafx 16 in HDMI on high definition. So there you go. There's no need for a TurboGrafx Mini, is there? But then again, it is a nostalgic act, and it is, a way of getting a lot of these TurboGrafx and PC Engine games, especially some of the special editions that are hidden within. You know what I'm saying? GameSack actually brought that up when they did a review of it. But when they talked about the Mini, they basically noticed that it wasn't very mini. It was basically like just a few inches smaller than the original TurboGrafx. Okay. Okay, that's unique, but I think the reason I think Konami did this is because they wanted to basically show the fact that you could stay true to the original size. You don't have to shrink it down. You can kind of stay true to the original size, maybe shrink it just a tiny bit, but try to keep it close to its original size so that it gives a real nostalgic feel to people. But the ultimate question is, who will be the more successful classic system between the two down the line? And honestly, I'm going to have to go with the TurboGrafx. Not because I own the original, not because of that, and not because of the fact it has more games and everything. That's one of the reasons, obviously, people will choose it over the Game Gear Micro. But mostly the fact that, people are not going to want to spend $250 combined for 4 different systems, which will have combined together on their own 12 games, and done in a way to where, unless you have the big window, which would come with the pre-order, you have to do this, or you have to get your glasses, if you will, and go like that. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want something that they're going to be able to see, play, and have fun with right off the bat as soon as they get out of the box. And that's why the TurboGrafx 16 Mini, in my opinion, is going to be the more successful out of the two. If you were to ask, what's the more successful out of the 16-bit classic systems, the Genesis Mini or the Super Nintendo Mini, and it's a close call. Nobody would be able to tell you. But here, there's no doubt, in my opinion, that TurboGrafx 16 Mini is going to outwin Sega's is going to outsell, and it's going to be more popular than the Game Gear Micro because it's got all these games pre-installed already, even the PC Engine ones, along with some secret ones that you have to press certain buttons to unlock. Um, but yeah, I don't see honestly the the Game Gear Micro outselling. I don't see the Game Gear Micro outselling the TurboGrafx Mini anytime soon. I see the TurboGrafx Mini being a success over it, despite the fact that they are coming out sort of within the same time frame, sort of within the same year, that across not just Japan but around the world as well, mostly here as well, but mostly here in North America. But yeah, and I think anybody watching would agree that the TurboGrafx 16 would probably be the one that wins out in the end. There's no doubt about it in anybody's mind that that's probably going to be the one that wins out. Um, more likely than anything. I think so. Anyway, though, with that said, and again, I do believe that's who's going to between the two systems coming out. I do believe that the TurboGrafx 16 Mini is going to be the one that wins out in the end. There's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. You know, um, again, like I said, I don't think anybody will uh, deny that whatsoever because of the fact that, like I said, they're not gonna. I mean, people will probably buy the micro. There's no doubt about that. Um, there's no doubt people will probably buy the micro. Um, hold on for a sec. Like I said, there's no doubt that people will probably buy the micro, the Game Gear Micro, but mostly for nostalgia reasons, as well as collectible reasons. Like, hey, look, I got all of them. That's the only reason I see them probably buying it. But I don't think from a success standpoint, it's going to beat the TurboGrafx 16 Mini. I think the TurboGrafx 16 Mini is probably going to win out in the end. So yeah, so there's that. There's that. But anyway, though, guys, that said, with that said, as I do something here for a second, let's talk about our last subject. And our last subject has to do with two popular, one very popular ongoing series and one that is upcoming within the next couple of weeks or so. We're guessing. It doesn't say if it's coming out tomorrow or not, but it is supposed to be coming out very, very soon. And that is basically, as I type in a few things here for a second, basically the tags in my YouTube page for this live stream. There we go. But basically, one that's currently established and is very popular and has similar vibes to Friendship is Magic, seeing as though it's created by the same creator of Friendship is Magic, Lauren Faust, and one that's upcoming that's basically like a spin-off, more comedically, of Friendship is Magic very soon. Those shows, of course, being DC Superhero Girls and the upcoming Pony Life, which is the spin-off of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. And the topic that I want to discuss when it comes to these two to close things out is that DC Superhero Girls by Lauren Faust and the upcoming Pony Life, which is the spinoff of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, should get as silly as can be and as they want. Now, here's what I mean. Now, DC Superhero Girls has been out for about a year or two, a couple years, about 2 years, maybe more. The one by Lord Faust, and it is funny. It is a more comedic take on the DC superhero female superheroes like Wonder Woman, Batgirl, Bumblebee, Zatanna, the female Green Lantern, you know, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Livewire, you name it. They're all more of a comedic, lighthearted take on the characters. Now, do they have the serious moments at times? They kind of do. I mean, when Katana, I think that's her name, got introduced, basically the episode consisted of her using a sword to steal the souls of everybody she encountered to help energize it. Basically, those souls were like the power source. And there's no doubt they've had moments, but mostly from what I have seen through clips and from what people have said, Superhero Girls is more of a comedic take, take more of a comedic action adventure take, or action adventure comedy take, let's put it that way, on these characters than anything else. And obviously you could see that they could go as wacky and as crazy with DC Superhero Girls as much as they want to. There's no doubt they could. I mean, the same with Pony Life. People are curious if maybe Pony Life is going to be that way too. And to me, they need to get silly. If they're going to establish themselves, distinguish themselves as, being their own entities, even though they're connected to basically the same franchises and the same characters that we see in other incarnations, if they're going to distinguish themselves as being a little bit different in their own thing, even though they have that connection, they have to get, as I put it, as silly as it can be, as silly as can be, and as they want. They have to. I mean, I'll give you an example. I've been wanting to tweet this clip out to Lauren Faust. But there are, I think, one or two video compilations that has Wonder Woman going gaga every time she sees Steve Trevor in this series. Basically, almost, if not near, if not at Looney Tune, Tex Avery, Tiny Toon, Animaniacs, Minerva Mink, Inc. Like levels. I mean, there's a moment when I think they're doing a Romeo and Juliet take on Romeo and Juliet, and literally when you get to that tower moment where they're about to kiss, all of a sudden Wonder Woman's head explodes like a freaking volcano. Or one of the other clips that they put on there is her falling off a beam on top of a construction tower, or a tower that's being constructed, and literally has to be flown back up by either herself or by Lantern. And I'm like, and I look at this and I'm thinking, you've had Batgirl get rolled up into a ball, flattened. Lauren, why haven't you used one of the most popular gags when it comes to something like what Wonder Woman's going through, and that is lustful melt? In other words, when she sees Trevor, and maybe if he kisses her on the hands, have her freaking melt into a puddle of goop. It would work within your series. Then you could have Lantern or Zatanna basically use the power to reform her, because it happens in such a way that all you see is her smiling face and she's not moving. And maybe you have Batgirl going like, Wendy, are you okay? No response. Zatanna has to come in. Use magic. There you go. Same with Lantern. You get what I'm saying? I mean, the moments that I saw that they utilized were funny, but using a gag like the melting gag, the lustful melt gag, I think would work for a situation like Wonder Woman with Steve Trevor, or even Batgirl with the Flash. I'm just saying. And I know somebody might say down the line, well, they kind of did that already, Brian. Really? Show me a clip. Show me a clip of them actually doing it. I'm just saying. Show me a clip of them actually doing it. I would like to see a clip. I would like it. I would like to see a clip. But to me, that's the one gag they need to really, really incorporate into the series down the line if it's still going to continue. And the same goes with Pony Life. Pony Life is supposed to be a more comedic take. Guess what? Get as silly and as crazy as you can with those characters. Get as silly and as crazy as you can. You know, to me, you have to get silly and crazy with them. I mean, heck, you went as far as having Pinkie Pie fall apart into pieces after she celebrated the fact that she was able to keep the revelation of Cadence and Shining Armor having a baby, which became Flurry Heart later on, a secret from Twilight. You can't tell me that if you're going to do Pony Life, you can't do that as well as some other gags. I think you can. I think you definitely do some gags. You got to get silly. You got to get as silly as you can be, and you got to get as silly as you can with that show. Again, Lustful Milk gag is a great gag to utilize in any kind of show like, let's say, Pony Life, especially with a character like Rarity or maybe even Twilight or even Pinkie. It would work. People would love it. They would love seeing that. They'd get a kick out of it. They would find it funny. Heck, do a gag where Fluttershy gets so scared witless that she jumps literally right out of her skin and then back into it. And all you see as she jumps out is a skeleton. I'm just saying. Get as silly and as crazy as you have to with Pony Life. Because if you want to distinguish it as its own entity, that's what you have to do. You have to do that. There's no doubt about it. You have to do it. And again, get creative with it as well. Get as silly as you can be and as you want. Get creative as well. Do transformation episodes. Do an episode where, Rarity gets zapped with a transformation spell and she turns into whatever she could think of just to maybe have some fun, be mischiefy, maybe spy on other ponies and characters to see what they're up to, maybe get fashion ideas. Do the same with Rainbow Dash, because that would fit Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie's characters. I'm just saying, get as silly as can be and as you want with that show, and the same with Superhero Girls. Get as crazy, as silly, and creative as you want. Because I guarantee you, if you do that, people will love it. People will love it, and it will show that you're not trying to continue. You're not trying to live up to what came before. You're trying to separate yourself from it and be your own individual identity and portion of that franchise. So to me, when it comes to Superhero Girls, which is currently on by Lauren Faust, and the upcoming Pony Life, which is based off of and spun off of Friendship is Magic, they need to get as silly as can be and as they want, get as creative as they want as well, and as they can be. I know Superhero Girls has done that already in a sense, from what I can understand. I know Friendship is Magic did it at times, but when it comes to these two shows, now you got to do it more so than ever to really distinguish yourself as your own identities, as your own portions of the franchise. But that's just how I look at it. That's not just how I feel it should be done, of how they should be doing it, and how they should be doing it, and hopefully will do it. So, look, hold on, I'm trying to think. Like I said, it's late. I'm tired. I worked today. It's 9:11 right now. But like I said, that's really all I can say. That's all I can really say. But like I said, they have to get as creative and as silly as they can be and as they want when it comes to these shows, mostly Pony Life, to really distinguish itself from Friendship is Magic and so on. But anyway, though, as I was trying to say, that's all I'm going to say here, though, guys, for this special Friday evening, maybe once in a while, Friday evening, TGIF, topics on my mind for today, the 12th of June 2020. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate you guys watching, even though none of you showed up in the live chats. That's okay. That's cool. I'm expecting comments later on. But again, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. All have a good night. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And I am out. Peace.